The allure of the Iraqi dinar is a siren song that has captivated thousands of potential investors around the globe, and it's not difficult to understand why when you first hear the pitch. Imagine a currency so undervalued that a single US dollar can buy over 1,300 of its units. Now, imagine the nation behind that currency sitting atop some of the world's largest proven oil reserves, a treasure trove of black gold that theoretically positions it for unimaginable economic wealth. This intoxicating combination of a low nominal value and vast natural resource wealth creates a perfect narrative storm. A story where early investors are promised life-changing wealth, revaluation that will turn a few $100s into a fortune overnight. It's a fantasy affront running the global financial system, of getting in on the ground floor of a modern-day economic miracle. This dream is tirelessly propagated in online forums, through dedicated YouTube channels, and by so-called gurus who paint a picture of an imminent financial event that will rewrite the rules of wealth. But this compelling narrative, this powerful allure, crashes directly into a far more complex and less glamorous reality, a reality defined by decades of political instability, economic challenges, and the hard, unyielding data of the global foreign exchange market. The stark, unemotional truth, as confirmed by the Central Bank of Iraq and international financial institutions, is that the dinar's exchange rate is not a dormant stock waiting to explode. It is an actively managed peg, a tool of economic policy designed to provide stability in a turbulent environment. As of the latest official data, that peg holds firm at approximately 1,310 Iraqi dinar to 1 United States dollar. This isn't a secret, it's the publicly stated operational reality of the currency. This peg is maintained through significant intervention by the central bank, which sells dollars to prop up the dinar's value and control inflation within the country. The very mechanism that provides a degree of day-to-day stability for the Iraqi economy is the same mechanism that completely dismantles the fantasy of a spontaneous, thousand-fold revaluation. Such a revaluation to occur, it would require the Central Bank of Iraq to deliberately and massively increase the value of its currency overnight, a move that would be economic suicide for a nation so heavily reliant on oil exports, which are priced in dollars. A stronger dinar would make all of Iraq's non-oil exports prohibitively expensive on the world market and cripple any nascent domestic industry. The economic incentive for the Iraqi government to initiate such a self-destructive event is simply non-existent, no matter how many rumors swirl on social media. The dream is further fractured by the physical reality of the currency itself, which brings us to the critical warning in your video's title. The sophisticated counterfeit dinar notes flooding the market are a direct byproduct of this fervent investor demand. These are not crude forgeries, they are high-quality fakes, often referred to as super notes, designed to deceive even a cautious eye. They exploit the very hope that the revaluation story sells. Unscrupulous dealers, operating in the shadows of the internet and at fringe currency exchanges, push these counterfeit notes onto eager buyers who are more focused on the future million-dollar payoff than on the authenticity of the paper in their hands. They look and feel real. They have the correct watermarks and security strips, but they are utterly worthless, a tangible representation of the intangible deception at the heart of the entire revaluation narrative. So, when we pull back the curtain on the allure, we find a landscape not of imminent wealth, but of a managed currency in a challenging economy, a reality where the biggest and most immediate financial event for many investors isn't a global revaluation, but the simple, devastating act of purchasing a beautifully crafted piece of worthless paper, a permanent monument to a dream that was built on a foundation of myth and misinformation from the very start. So, if the official economic reality is one of a managed peg and not an imminent windfall, where does this powerful, persistent narrative of a revaluation or RV actually come from? To understand this, we need to deconstruct the ecosystem that feeds this myth, an ecosystem built not on financial data but on hope, speculation, and a sophisticated language of its own designed to create an illusion of insider knowledge. The core of the revaluation story is propped up by a network of self-proclaimed experts and gurus who have cultivated large followings by speaking in a coded lexicon of intel, briefings, and banking context. These individuals often present themselves as brave truth tellers, providing daily or weekly updates that claim to offer glimpses into a secret, coordinated global financial reset that will imminently launch the dinar's value. Their language is deliberately vague, filled with predictions of any day now, and we are in the window, a strategy that allows them to perpetually move the goalposts. When one predicted date passes without event, a new, slightly more complex reason emerges, pointing to a new date, a new political meeting, or a new international agreement that is supposedly the final key. This cycle is endless, and it serves a crucial purpose. It creates a state of perpetual anticipation that keeps an audience engaged, watching, and most importantly, consuming content, and in many cases, paying for premium subscription services or apps that promise even more exclusive intel. This constant drip, feed of unverifiable information, creates a powerful psychological trap known as the sunk cost fallacy. Followers who have invested years of their time, emotional energy, and often significant money into following this story find it increasingly difficult to walk away, as admitting it was a myth would mean admitting they were deceived and that their investment was for nothing. It's easier to double down and wait for the next piece of hopeful news. But let's contrast this guru-led speculation with the clear, consistent, and publicly available analysis from credible financial institutions and global news outlets. Organizations like the International Monetary Fund, Reuters, and Bloomberg don't report on dinar revaluation rumors because, from a fundamental economic standpoint, they are not credible. Their reporting on Iraq focuses on the real, tangible challenges and incremental progress of the nation's economy, the struggles with political corruption, the complexities of passing a federal budget, the efforts to modernize banking infrastructure, and the fluctuations in global oil prices. These are the factors that genuinely influence the Iraqi dinar's value in the long term, not secret meetings or global conspiracies. In fact, reports from these credible sources often explicitly warn investors about the dinar revaluation scam, categorizing it as a classic pump and dump scheme tailored to the exotic currency market. They point out the glaring logical flaw. If these gurus truly had the secret, certain knowledge of a guaranteed financial event that would create millionaires overnight, they would be quietly mortgaging their homes and investing every single cent they could access into dinar themselves, not selling that information for a monthly subscription fee. The very business model of selling information about the revaluation proves its own falsehood. The narrative is also sustained by a deliberate misrepresentation of real-world events. A speech by an Iraqi official about long-term economic reform goals spanning 5 to 10 years is instantly twisted into confirmation of an imminent revaluation. A routine banking regulation aimed at combating money laundering is rebranded as the final step in the global banking system preparing for the new dinar rates. This co-opting of real news and spinning it into false hope is a primary tactic, giving the myth a veneer of legitimacy it does not deserve. Ultimately, the entire revaluation mythos is a castle built on sand, a self-referential loop where gurus quote other gurus and rumors are cited as evidence, all while completely divorced from the sober assessments of central banks, international economists, and the actual verifiable data coming out of Iraq itself. Now that we have navigated the turbulent waters between the alluring fantasy and the hard economic reality, and deconstructed the intricate ecosystem that keeps the revaluation myth alive, we arrive at the most critical part of our discussion: how you, as a viewer and potential investor, can protect yourself and navigate this landscape with wisdom and skepticism. The first and most powerful tool at your disposal is a simple but profound shift in your sourcing strategy. You must make a conscious decision to prioritize official, verifiable data over charismatic commentary. This means that your primary sources for information should be the official website of the Central Bank of Iraq for exchange rate confirmations and monetary policy statements, and respected international financial news outlets like Reuters, Bloomberg, and the Financial Times for economic analysis. These organizations are bound by journalistic integrity and fact-checking standards. Their reputation depends on accuracy, not on generating clicks through sensationalist promises. When you encounter a dramatic claim from a YouTube guru or a forum post, subject it to a simple test: can you find a single credible, non-affiliated source like the IMF or the World Bank reporting the same thing? If the answer is no, and the only proof is more rumors from within the same speculative community, you are looking at misinformation. Your second layer of defense is understanding the severe and tangible risks involved. Beyond the obvious danger of purchasing sophisticated counterfeit notes, there is the legal and financial peril of dealing with unauthorized or offshore currency exchanges. Many of these entities operate in a regulatory gray area, offering no consumer protection, no guarantee of authenticity, and often engaging in predatory pricing, selling dinars at a massive premium above their actual market value. Imagine paying thousands of dollars for a stack of currency that is either completely fake or, if genuine, is worth a fraction of what you paid based on the official exchange rate. Furthermore, converting large quantities of Iraqi dinar back into your local currency can be incredibly difficult, if not impossible, through mainstream regulated banks, which often refuse to handle the currency due to its association with scams and money laundering concerns. This lack of liquidity is a critical red flag that is almost never discussed by the promoters of the investment. So, what should you do with this information? How can you channel the interest that brought you to this topic into something productive and secure? This is my call to action for you. I want you to become a warrior for financial literacy. The same energy and curiosity you have for potential investments can be directed into learning about truly sound financial principles. Instead of chasing a mythical lottery ticket, invest in your own knowledge. Subscribe to channels and read books that teach you about diversified investment portfolios, about index funds, about retirement planning, and about understanding global economics from a factual, historical perspective. Knowledge is the only investment that guarantees a return and cannot be stolen from you. Use the comment section below not to ask about the latest unverified rumor, but to share your thoughts on the importance of credible sources. Let's create a community that elevates the conversation, that supports each other in making informed and rational financial decisions. Share this video with anyone you know who might be caught in the revaluation narrative. You might provide them with the clarity they need to step back and protect their hard-earned money. The greatest wealth-building tool you have is not a secret banknote. It is your own educated and disciplined mind. Break the cycle of hope and speculation. Hit that subscribe button if you are ready for a journey into real, evidence-based financial education, where we respect your intelligence and your time by dealing in facts, not fairy tales. Together, let's build a future on a foundation of knowledge, not on a foundation of sand. Thank you for watching and for choosing to be informed.